Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Chris. I'm getting right back into, I guess it's really a podcast now. I used the YouTube feature to turn the first book into a podcast, and I'm on the second book, 30 Day Project. And what I realized is I wrote so much of this in the moment that almost all of this part of the book feels kind of, the information needs to really be discussed in like a school setting because it's a lot of data. And when you sit down and you do a lot of data, you'll find that it's difficult to kind of translate it into book form. So I'm going to skip all of this part of the book for the 30-day project, and I'm going to lean directly into the most important section of the book. And if you notice, it's 170 pages right here. And I'm going to go through the 30-day project, which is 30 quotes. And I'll turn it into one long video, and hopefully you will go through it and listen to it because I think each quote is really good. And of course, I say that. Who's going to say that? I think these quotes suck. They don't. It's a really good book. But what I realized is all of this information from section 1 and section 2, it was written in the moment. A lot of it is very good. It's very good. But if I don't read it almost as a part of a course of study, it just feels very difficult to kind of explain. And you know what? Let me show you better than I can tell you. And then I'll get into what's really the big heft of the book, which is the chapter 19, the 30-day project. But I'll just kind of scroll through so you can look at this and you'll see these charts that are in here for page views. And then there's discussions on stat counter. And then you have these long elements from different discussions I had online. It's just a lot. So we're going to jump over that and we're going to go straight to page 139. I mean, gosh, there's charts and graphs all the way through this thing. If you want to buy a copy of it, it is. You know what? I'll link it in the description and you can buy a copy of it. But the most important aspect is the 30-day project. And if you look at the book, you look at the back right here. I guess it's a small picture over here on the side, but I'll drop a screenshot of the back of the book and it says, BOMB on the back. Begin owning mistakes without blaming. Pop it. And that's plan, organize, project, implement, and try. Now, project and project means two different things, but plan, organize, project, implement, and try. Pop it. So I had these catchphrases, and I should put those on a t-shirt. I never thought about it, but I came up with these catchphrases while I was writing the book, and I was like, dude, these are really good. And the title, of course, is the 30-day project, how daily dedication can lead to something amazing. I literally said in 1 Hour to Wealth that every day you should take 1 hour to focus on something that you want to build, right? All of this time, I'm writing these different, kind of different, I'm writing all of this different stuff. And I'm not listening to my own advice. And when you have situations like that, man, you're going to find yourself in trouble. Oh, you know what? I'm glad I scrolled to here. Because in this section, I think I was in a class. Yeah, I had pulled things from class. And I gave a list of 10 things about working with people. And about why a certain business wasn't taking off that this guy was starting in his class. It was a business writing class. So here are those reasons. You know what? Let's do that before we jump into chapter 19, page 139. This guy was, he was basically asking questions. He was like, yo, I don't know why my business isn't taking off. I'm trying to figure everything out. And I was like, well, we're all going to brainstorm right now and figure this out. And here are the things that we came up with. Number one, people don't really have their own ideas. Now, what was that about? We were talking about the people around him. As opposed to focusing exactly on what he was doing, a lot of the things that he was talking about sounded like people were slowing him down. And what I explained is, in many instances, you'll have people just kind of hang around you because you have these great ideas and you're always coming up with stuff and you're always looking forward to working on things. And they don't really have their own ideas. They're simply going to adopt yours. So people don't really have their own ideas. 2, people don't really want to see you succeed. Now, it's difficult to say that because I had so many people around me that have wanted me to be successful, but somewhere things never connected the way they were supposed to. And Invisible Man, Ralph Ellison, the founder of the college, gives the narrator in the book a stack of letters, recommendation letters. And the narrator leaves the college after getting into some trouble. And he goes from place to place and he gives people these sealed letters from the founder. He never reads them. And he finally gets to a point where he goes to a meeting and the person that he gives the letter to reads it. And that person asks, "Have you ever read these letters?" And he says, "No." And he gives the letter back to him. So the narrator has gone from place to place looking to work and do different things. And what the letter said was every person that read it should keep this dude running. There are moments where the people you think are in your corner, they're not really in your corner. 3, because people don't want to see you succeed, they will try to make you fail. Follow that up with number 4. People will not support you because they are jealous of what you are doing. I had a guy that used to kick it with me, and this dude would always say, "Man, you have the perfect life." And I didn't. We were struggling. It was hard. But he was looking at something that he both admired and was jealous of. That's a dangerous person to be around. Because if they can disrupt something that you're doing, they will stay around you and remain a part of your life as if they are friends when they're simply leeches. You have to be very aware of that. And anytime something happens and that person's a part of it, they'll throw it back in your face as if you're the one that made the problem. Number 5, people want to do something themselves. So instead of supporting you, they will berate what you are doing. In other words, you come up with an idea and somebody will say, "Nah, you know what? I don't think you should do that." And then the next thing you notice, they're doing it. You have to be careful. Number 6, no one really wants to be the worker. Everyone wants to be the boss. That's self-explanatory. There's no great business. I'm looking at a CNBC video on a woman who has these cookie pies. And it was like she did $1 million in a year, and then she started hiring employees. To expand and for a business to grow, someone has to be a worker. Somebody has to be a worker. For it to scale, somebody has to be a worker. But in many instances, you run into people who want to be bosses. There's nothing wrong with that. But in order for a business to grow, somebody has to do the work. And for it to scale and get bigger, you can't do it all by yourself. You need help. So remember, all of this is in context to the guy that's in class who's talking about he feels like he's having a difficult time getting the business off the ground. Number 7, most people have a "why should I work for you" attitude. Why should I work for you? I have peers. I tried to create this really great network, but inevitably, everybody saw the network as working for you versus working together. It fell apart. Things took much longer to get to where they needed to be. And those are the kind of things that happen. Why should I work for you? Should you have to give people a reason? Yeah, you definitely should. But the people who are going to be the workers, they'll believe in what you're doing and they'll understand what their role is in that. And man, I don't think it's easy to find those people. So when you like put out job descriptions and things like that, you wonder why it takes so long for people to hire and why people end up going with nepotism. It's difficult to find the right people. Very difficult. Number 8, most people have an "I'm just as smart as you, so I might as well start a business too" attitude. Gosh, this seems all negative, doesn't it? Seems all negative. But it's not, man. It's the reality of doing something that's difficult. You're going to have to look at the negative aspects of it as well as the positive. If you simply focus on the positive, you're going to miss things. You have to look at the gray area, positive, negative, the gray area. You have to look at everything and pay attention to it all. Number 9, people don't want to give their time to your idea. They simply don't. They just want to be there if your idea works. So they won't work. They'll just hang around draining your energy. You may not even feel that drain. I used to see these kids when I was little. And this one kid, man, dude had like lice. I hate to bring up a visual, but dude also had a tick on him. Didn't even know the tick was there. Didn't know he was there. If there's not a better example of people just kind of hanging around until something clicks, it's that. You may not even recognize that somebody's just kicking it with you because they know that you're special. You're going to move. You're going to go places. And they don't want to miss that. So they will just hang around. If people are going to be around you, make sure they add something to the pot. Make sure they add something to the pot. This is probably the most important one. Number 10. People are not willing to work for nothing for an extended amount of time. Here's the real deal, right? Any big successful business that you see, somebody worked and didn't get paid. Somebody got worked and didn't get a dime for years. The owner didn't get paid. The investor didn't get paid. Somebody worked and never got a penny. You got to have people around you, man, that believe in the idea enough to stick it out. Got to stick it out. I didn't even think about, the fact that this chart was in here, and I was going to skip over it. And it was a list, and really this whole list is about selflessness. It's about selflessness. You have to find people who are selfless. And I know what I am. I know that I do things in a certain way, and I will give my energy to people, and I'll just work hard at trying to help other people. And it's a part of what I want to be my business and who I want to be seen as. But man, you really have to find a happy median. You can't what am I trying to say, man? Because I thought this was just going to be an introduction too. the 30-day project, and it just turned into something else. So I'm going to wrap this one up, and I'm going to jump back into and do the 30-day project, and I'm going to break those up one at a time. So those videos will be much shorter than the previous book because, like I said, I'm starting at the end, and I'm just going to go directly to the 30-day project. What we have is a situation where you have to believe that what you're working on has value, and when you believe that, the people around you are going to believe it as well. That's a fact. You have to establish early. I don't care what you're doing. Lay it out on day one. Lay it out on day one. If people are going to get paid or people are not going to get paid, that they're going to get X up front, and that's going to be it. Because if you do not lay out and set the boundaries, you're setting everything up for failure. Everything gets set up for failure. The 30-day project at its core is about daily dedication. Daily dedication. Focus on something. Do it for 1 hour a day. Every day. Every day. And I promise you, man, I am not kidding. I promise you the likelihood of everything that you're working on is going to improve, and it's going to get better, and the likelihood for success is going to skyrocket versus remaining flat. I'm a victim of not being consistent. I lost $500,000 because of a failure to be consistent. But there were a lot of other factors as well. I believed everyone wanted what I wanted. Simply not true, man. You have to find your tribe. You got to find your tribe. It's completely unscripted. That's the end of this introduction to the 30-day project, which, like I said, I'm going directly to the actual 30-day project, which was my 30-day project, which is what I took on. And what I took on was creating business quotes every day for 30 days. Didn't matter how long I had to take to create that business quote, but I wanted to do that every day because I felt like these thoughts I had in my head in 2014. I think, how much money did I make in 2014? I think it was $600,000, 400,000. You know what? I think 2014, I think I did close to, 2015, 2016, I did 700,000, something like, I can't remember. It was a lot. I did a lot in 2014. I'll find it and I'll put it next to my head over here to the side. But I was doing very well. And then things started to fall apart in 2015, 2016. Things started to fall apart. Even though I made a lot of money, I had no margins. And the only reason I bring that up is because I want you guys to realize that you got to have a dedicated plan and you have to be consistent. If you don't understand what your budget is and you don't check it all the time, update and all this stuff, man, everything catches up with you. Everything catches up with you. Don't think you can run away from it. Daily dedication can lead to something amazing. It's a 30-day project. Next video, day one of my own personal 30-day project. And hope you guys enjoy this. Dang, I ran on for a long time there, didn't I?